What's going on, everyone? Divine Sense Boxing back in the building. I appreciate everyone dropping by to listen to my thoughts about this fight. This is the official prediction / breakdown video of this fight, which is Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. I'm very excited about this fight. This is a very interesting and intriguing fight, and it did take me quite a bit of time to break down fight footage and come on here and give you guys an honest and confident prediction / breakdown video. Now, first thing I want to say before I get into the breakdown part of it and then eventually the prediction is that I am a Jamel Herring fan. I like his story. I like what he represents. I'm a veteran myself, and for those of you who don't know, Jamel Herring boxed while he was in the Marine Corps, balancing boxing and serving his country in the Marine Corps. He finished his service, went into boxing at around 26, 27 years old, so a very late start, and has accomplished so much. Not only that, he's, I believe, 35 years old going into this fight, a very similar age to myself. So it'd be really cool, man, to see him pull it off against this younger and exuberant fighter of Shakur Stevenson. So I just want to throw that out there real quickly, and let's go ahead and jump straight into the prediction video. All right, so something that I'd like to do is just give some quick key notes of fights, a little bit of the tail of the tape, and some notable things. Now, this is usually for people who may be on the fence about this prediction, and this information might be valuable to you, and it's just a nice little prelude to the breakdown itself. So Shakur Stevenson, if you didn't know, is 24 years old. He is 5'8" in height, and he has a 68-inch reach. He is a southpaw, of course. He is 16-0 with 8 KO. So 50% KO ratio so far in his young professional career. Not so bad at all. Now, the most notable thing to me about Shakur Stevenson thus far in his career is that he is an Olympic medalist, a silver medalist to be, as a matter of fact. So I hold that up to the highest regard. I do not take it lightly. Anytime a boxer is able to even get through the Olympic trials, let alone make the U.S. team and then come back with a medal to show for it. Normally, when boxers go that route and accomplish so much as an amateur, winning an Olympic gold medal or golden gloves and things like that, they usually become very successful professional boxers once they do hit the professional ranks. So I do see that type of future for Shakur Stevenson, and like I said, it does carry some weight anytime I'm doing a fight breakdown / prediction and it comes to Shakur Stevenson. Now, Jamel Herring, 35 years of age, so he's 11 years older. He is 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, so he has the height and the reach advantage in this fight. A fellow southpaw, of course. He is currently 23-2, and he has 11 wins by knockout. So, quick tail of the tape there. Some notable things I just mentioned about Jamel earlier is that, he did box in the Marine Corps, started late. That is a very notable thing to state, in my opinion. Now, let's shift to the whole breakdown itself. Anytime you have two southpaws go at it, it's always very interesting and very intriguing. It's a little bit difficult to break down, much different than an orthodox fighter, two orthodox fighters fighting each other, or even an orthodox southpaw fighting each other. When you have two southpaws, you really have to look at a few things. Number one, when was the last time of this particular fighter or fighters have fought a southpaw? You have to look at their recent record as to, how successful they were against a fellow southpaw, because quite frankly, southpaws just don't fight each other very often. A lot of fighters can go their whole career and not fight a fellow southpaw at the highest level. Manny Pacquiao, for example, as a southpaw, when he was getting ready to fight Errol Spence, he hadn't fought a southpaw in 10-plus fights. So it was quite a long time since he went up against his fellow southpaw. Errol Spence, on the other hand, had more recently fought a southpaw who he beat, and so he had, in my opinion, a fresher memory of what it was like to go in the ring against a southpaw. And this scenario is very similar. The older fighter, Jamel Herring, hasn't fought in a southpaw in quite some time. And as a matter of fact, the southpaw who he did fight most recently in his career, he actually lost that fight against a guy named Ladarius Miller. Now, Ladarius Miller is a very decent fighter. It was a very decent fight between him and Herring, very competitive. I did watch the entire fight, score it, and I did have Miller winning that fight. It was very competitive, like I said, but I feel like Miller was just a little bit sharper, quicker to the punch, worked a little bit more. Herring did have his moments, though. He did make it a very competitive fight. I also believe that Herring learned a lot from that fight, going up against his fellow southpaw, and there's been some time lapse between that fight. He's went on and fought orthodox fighters and become a world champion, and he's shown improvement. Will it still translate when it comes to fighting a fast fighter who is hungry, who has a very good pedigree in the amateur boxing ranks, and a guy like Shakur Stevenson is yet to be seen. Now, Herring is a counterpuncher, in my opinion. He does a lot of good things in the ring. He has a lot of different skill sets, but his main skill set is his counterpunching ability. Now, one thing you can do as a counterpuncher, traditionally in boxing, to offset hand speed and foot speed is sharp, accurate counterpunching ability. He does have that in his arsenal. My biggest concern in this fight, though, however, is can he sustain and control himself and be disciplined at 35 years old and dealing with a guy who's much younger, very fast, and who has shown who can carry his hand speed and his pop. I won't call power quite yet in his career, but he does have pop. He can hurt you, and that is Shakur Stevenson, right? He has shown that he can carry that pop and hand speed late into fights, and a lot of that has to do with youth. A lot of it has to do with being in great shape, and a lot of it is his style. He has developed a career where he's had or has leaned on being the quicker fighter, and he's been very, very successful at it. So Herring's counterpunching ability in this fight will be super, super important, and maintaining discipline and not going toe-to-toe and trying to exchange with Stevenson unless he has to. If he's losing badly and he has to let his hands go, that's one thing. But in a controlled area of the fight, I don't want to see Herring do that because I feel like that will fall into Stevenson's hands a little bit more. If Herring is able to control the pace of the fight, counterpunch Stevenson on his way in, because that's what you do with a fast fighter. They pop in, they pop out. And Stevens is very elusive. He makes it difficult for you to hit him and counterpunch him. But Herring is very good at not just counterpunching, as I mentioned, but countering to the body, which is even better, in my opinion, when you're dealing with a fast fighter like Stevenson. You don't want to go head hunting and try to counter with crisp shots to the head. You go straight to the body. And Herring has done that multiple times in his career and has had a lot of success when he has been at a disadvantage when it comes to hand speed. So that's what I would like to see from Herring. Counterpunching ability to the body, maintaining discipline, and try to control the pace of the fight. Make Stevenson reluctant to jump on you. Make him respect you. Stevenson, on the other hand, do what you do, man. Hand speed, quickness, be elusive, work the body, work the head, bounce around, make the older fighter uncomfortable. Use your youth to your advantage and use the experience that you have accumulated in the amateur ranks and become an Olympian to your advantage. And you're going to have to use every tool in your toolbox, essentially, to beat Herring. Herring is, as a professional, more experienced than you. And he's going to have a good game plan ready to go. If you get into the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th rounds is where we're really going to see a difference in this fight, in my opinion. So, great fight. Two southpaws going at it. Can't wait. For my official prediction, I think this fight's going the distance. I think it's going to be very competitive, but I feel that Shakur Stevenson will edge this out in a unanimous decision. I think it'll be close, and this will be Stevenson's toughest test. We're going to see this in this fight. We're going to see him tested. We're going to see him have to dig deep. We're going to have to see him do things that we haven't seen him do before, but I think his youth, his speed, his ability will just be a little bit too much for the 35-year-old Jamel Herring, and it kills me to say that because, like I said, I'm going for Herring in this fight. I hope he pulls it off, but that's what I have for my prediction. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button as well. Click that notification bell if you like these types of conversations. It's always good to have you a part of the family here at Devon Says Boxing. And, of course, don't forget, leave your prediction in the comment section. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on who you have in this fight. Until the next one, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll be back on here very, very soon. Peace.